Please be seated. Good afternoon. My name is Jim Gale, Chair of the Gustavus Adolphus College Board of Trustees. On behalf of my board colleagues, it is my great honor to welcome all of you to the college's 2010 commencement ceremony. Those graduating today join a long and distinguished list of over 26,500 persons who have earned degrees from Gustavus since its founding 148 years ago. To the members of the class of 2010, congratulations. Earning a baccalaureate degree requires dedication, energy, and intelligence. All of us here today, your family, your friends, the faculty, the staff, and members of the Board of Trustees are proud of what you have accomplished. You also should take great satisfaction in all your successes. In addition to congratulating you on what you have accomplished, the board would like to thank each of you for what you have contributed. Whether you know it or not, Gustavus is a different and markedly better place than it would have been without you. We look forward to working with you for our college in the years ahead. It is now my privilege to introduce Chaplain Brian Johnson, who will offer the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious God, be with us as we gather for this Gustavus Adolphus College commencement ceremony. We are filled with deep gratitude. Tears of loss and pride, relief and happiness well up in our eyes. Look kindly upon all participants, those who graduate, those who have assisted them, and those who share their joy. We pray that in the days ahead you will lead these graduates to be honorable, just, merciful, pure, and loving people. We praise you because all things that we achieve are made possible because you love and preserve us. Bless this moment. Do not leave us, we pray, but walk with us in all the days of our lives. And together the people say, Amen. Amen.
Because of the possibility of rain, we thought we would move the most important part of this ceremony to first, and that is the conferring of the degrees. The students have been advised that they will go through the process just as they would in the regular program, so for those of you that are looking, just put an arrow up to the first part and we'll be conferring the degrees. The strength of an institution begins with its faculty. And as we move to the conferring of the degrees, I want to make a few very brief remarks before we invite the students to receive their diplomas. Gustavus Adolphus College has been fortunate throughout its history to have dedicated men and women who have distinguished careers of teaching and have truly made a difference in the lives of hundreds and even thousands of students. Today, we want to especially recognize two Gustavus faculty who are retiring this year. We give them special recognition on behalf of all Gustavus alumni and current students who understand the commitment each has to the students they teach. I ask that each retiring faculty member stand as I introduce you and remain standing so that we can acknowledge both of you together for your collective 77 years of teaching at Gustavus. First, Professor of Classics, Will Freert. Professor Freert. Dr. Freert joined the Gustavus faculty in 1972. His 38 years of service at Gustavus have focused on Greek and Roman poetry, myth, and religion. Will, these students are better for the experience they have had with you as one of their faculty. For that, we are grateful. The second professor is Professor of Scandinavian Studies, Roland Thorstensen. Professor Thorstensen, would you please stand? Dr. Thorstensen joined the faculty in 1971. His interests have been Scandinavian drama and film, 20th century literature, poetry, and music and translation. To these two individuals, we thank you for your distinguished careers. We will miss you, but we will always welcome you back as Emeriti faculty. Thank you. Now, as we introduce the students, I want to first introduce those at Gustavus who have been most instrumental in the lives of our graduates. Gustavus has a tradition that few schools have that truly recognize not only the graduating class and their accomplishments, but signifies the bond between faculty and student. The faculty will actually present each graduate with his or her diploma following their introduction and greeting as they cross the stage. Will the faculty please rise and receive our appreciation? Thank you. Provost Feenan, will you please join me at the podium as we begin the process of conferring these degrees?
Without further ado, class of 2010, this is your day. The time has come. I ask the members of the Gustavus Adolphus College class of 2010 to please stand. President Oley, I present to you the members of the class of 2010 who have been enrolled in courses of study leading to the Bachelor of Arts degree. There are 593 members of this class. During their time at Gustavus, each has completed the requirements defined by the faculty as a foremost liberal arts education. When they leave Gustavus, they will become teachers, business people, medical professionals, lawyers, ministers, political leaders, information technologists, researchers, naturalists, and will hold many other professional positions of responsibility, as well as continue to be leaders in their community. On behalf of the faculty, it is a great pleasure to recommend to you that the Bachelor of Arts degree be conferred upon each one of them.
Thank you, Provost Feenan. It is my distinct honor to receive these candidates for graduation. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Gustavus Adolphus College, I hereby confer upon these candidates the Bachelor of Arts degree for which they have been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees. I admit you to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto, in token whereof you will receive your diploma. Congratulations. Members of the graduating class may be seated. The marshals and those assisting with the ceremony will take their places for the conferring of the diplomas. When you are introduced by Provost Feenan and Dean Kaiser, we ask that you proceed across the stage. It will be my honor to greet you and present to you the G pin made especially for this class. It represents the fact that you are now a graduate of Gustavus Adolphus College. You will first greet the chairman of the board, Mr. Jim Gale, and then move to me where I will give you that pin. And then you will go down the ramp and the chaplain will be down there to greet you as you come down the ramp. So thank you very much. As we present the class of 2010, we ask all those in attendance today to remember that today's event is a formal ceremony. Each member of the class of 2010 has earned the right to have their name read and heard by all that are gathered here today. We would request that you hold all applause, cheers, whistles, and other demonstrations that will detract from the very special occasion until the entire class has been presented.
Christine Ahmet.
Andreas Olaf Arsvold.
Carrie Marie Abbott.
Bradley C. Abel.
Jared Daniel Ackman.
Christopher Andrew Adams.
Saria Ahmed.
Khalid Al-Amin.
Jeffrey Scott Alexander.
Emily Marie Alex.
Amy Elizabeth Anderson.
Aaron Mellenbacher Anderson.
Rachel Christine Anderson.
Rachel Christine Anderson.
Stephanie Joe Anderson.
Matthew Glenn Andres.
Stephen Thomas Andres.
Sheila Marie Arnold.
Michael Berg Astrup.
Marissa Lene Augustine.
Christopher Daniel Augustinak.
Mark Anton Osted, summa cum laude.
Shuan Oyung.
Jonas Awada.
Kyle Bachmeyer.
Sophia Jeanette Bachman.
Laura Nicole Baker.
Natalie Jo Baker.
Brian Albert Barnes.
Kayi Robert Battern.
Anna Rose Bauer. Ashley Rose Bauman.
Matthew Christian Beachy.
Jordan Douglas Becker.
Alyssa Ray Beckleen.
Ignacio Eduardo Belmonte Vilela.
Lauren Marie Bennett.
Sarah Elizabeth Bentley.
Scott Michael Benz.
Mara Elizabeth Birdall.
Jonna Berry.
Amara Ann Berthelsen, summa cum laude.
Sarah Joanna Betzler.
Mariah Lynn Birrell.
Ashley Nadine Bierman.
Eric John Bigham.
Tara Julene Baleen.
Jeremy Michael Bach.
Brittany Rochelle Bolig.
Michael Allen Bolin.
Nicholas K. Bonestro.
Kirsten Boma.
Kelly Marie Bauer.
Daniel Ryan Brack.
Roxana Nicole Brace.
Sarah Melina Bradley.
Natalie K. Brady.
Alexandra Marjorie Brackey.
Benjamin James Brandt.
Christina Catherine Brandt.
Caitlin Ann Brown.
Christopher Michael Bronner.
Jack William Breckner.
Larissa Bregenzer.
Alicia Ann Brecky.
Adam Gary Bren.
Jennifer Ann Broman.
Andrea Justine Brown.
Bethany Amber Brown.
Kelsey Lee Bruger.
Rebecca Lynn Bryson.
Marie Patrice Burr.
Joshua John Busacker.
Lydia Ann Buzian.
Andrew Mark Byron.
Claire Catherine Campbell.
Spencer Martin Campion.
Cole Anders Carlson.
Catherine Ann Carlson.
Krista Ray Carlson.
Glenn Fowler Carnahan.
Risa Riley Carpenter.
Catherine M. Casey.
Matthew Kurt Kraust.
Catherine Ruth Chakowski.
Lauren Elizabeth Clausen.
Zachary Dennis Ivan Coles.
Lauren Ryala Collett.
Betsy Jo Collins.
Chelsea Elizabeth Cook.
Allison Marie Cooney.
Benjamin John Copeland.
Andrew Joseph Corbett.
Daniel Lee Cooland.
Kelsey Renee Cowden, summa cum laude.
Chelsea Jean Craven.
Lauren Therese Crome.
Elliot Niles Crouch.
Carlene Marie Krause.
Michael James Crowder.
Katie Mae Cummings.
Mary Kathleen Cunningham.
Good. Joshua Aaron Kerb.
Brian Edward Curran. Evan Dean Curtin.
Frida Otila Danberg.
Jacob Danner. Hannah Davidson.
Haven Elizabeth Davis.
Skylar Jameson Davis.
John McKenna Degernis.
Catherine Ann Demas.
Chelsea Marie Deno.
Catherine Julia DeSantis.
Alicia Ann Dickey, summa cum laude.
Allison Jane Dittmer. Buyong Dong.
Michael Thomas Douglas White.
Rebecca Carolyn Dove.
April Lynn Druby.
Jamie M. Dufik.
Laura Ann Dummer.
Patrick Dinan.
John Michael Eastling.
Derek J. Eady.
Jokatala Tematopa Edo.
Ross John Alankowicz.
Sarah Nicole Ellefson.
Amalise Ann Ellingson.
Casey R. Enavoldson.
Scott Michael Engelman.
Aaron Epler.
Chad Allen Ewell.
Juliana Joyce Viola Fadler.
Jamie Justine Farrell, summa cum laude.
Abigail Susan Feenstra.
Andrew Michael Fensky.
Philip Finocchiaro.
Nathan Michael Fisher.
Amanda Dorothy Fisher.
Alyssa Claire Fitzgerald.
Erica White Flynn.
Jennifer Marie Forrest.
Keegan J. Fraley.
Bethany Franta.
Jared Kyle Freeberg.
Troy Elliott French.
Maria Catherine Freund.
Catherine Ann Fuller.
Patrick Charles Gates.
Holly Beth Galazin.
Brittany Renee Gamelin.
Tianu Steffi Gu.
Mac D. Garceau.
Megan McLeod Gehring.
Carrie Kathleen George.
Kevin A. Gehring.
Ashley Ann Gayworth.
Megan N. Godey.
Kyle S. Goodfellow.
Amy Goswich.
Andrew Grion.
Callie Christine Griggs.
Stephen Edmund Lisa Ann Grenison, summa cum laude.
Jennifer K. Grundman.
Andrea Jean Gullickson, summa cum laude.
Kari Susan Gunderson.
Nathan James Gunderson.
Katie Rose Guthmuller.
Nicholas Arlen Guttormson.
Lauren Alexandra Grozniak.
Morgan Renee Marie Hagedorn.
Andrew Mark Hagan.
Kevin William Weigel Hagan.
Rebecca Thompson Hagan.
Azra Halilovich.
Dwight Joseph Hall.
Meredith Lauren Holling.
Kathleen Margaret Halloran.
Jennifer Lynn Helverson.
Madeline C. Hanks.
Elisa Hansen.
Amber Diane Hansen.
Nolan Maxwell Hansen.
William James Hansen.
Maggie Lynn Hansvik.
Nicholas D. Harper.
Andrew J. Hartman.
Mark Edward Hartman.
Ryan Matthew Hartzell.
Mahad Mohammed Hassan.
Ashley Kaya Haugen.
Kelsey Lauren Houseleden.
Justin Robert Helgett.
Robin Nicole Henderson.
Eliza Michelle Henning.
Pang Chia Her.
Tori J. Herman.
Victoria Hidalgo Gonzalez.
Derek Andrew Hilding, summa cum laude.
Lynn Suzanne Hillen.
Bo James Hillesheim.
Lara Jean Hillman.
Andrew Michael Hiltner, summa cum laude. Soren Carl Hager-Lardell.
Sarah Elizabeth Herr.
Peter Bry Hoffman.
Caitlin Nicole Hoyam.
Amber Jean Holitz.
Derek Charles Holm.
Katie Lynn Holmgren.
James Dean Alden Holt.
Rebecca Ann Horman.
Fraser Miller Horton.
Matthew Philip Horton.
Joel Stanley Howard.
Mark Thomas Huberty.
Kyle D. Holbert.
Christopher J. Hunt.
Kyle Spees Hunt.
Rachel Susan Eiblings.
Emma Iverson, summa cum laude.
Sarah Jane Jabbar.
Daniel Jackson.
Pauline Joanna Jackson.
Kari Lynn Jacobson.
Jack Andrew Yeager.
Amy Allison Yankee.
Heidi Melissa Jansig.
Colleen Michelle Javarina.
Patrick C. Jeffrey.
Shane C. Jensen.
Kelsey Rose Gentink.
Krishnan Ratila Jethwa.
Amanda Lee Johnson.
Jenna Ray Johnson.
Jessica Ann Johnson.
Katie Rose Johnson.
Caitlin Elizabeth Johnson.
Michael Thomas Johnson.
Kyle Stanton Johnsrud.
Blair Elizabeth Jones.
Vanessa Lee Jones.
Joseph D. Jordette.
Catherine Bradley Jorgensen.
Thomas Paul Jorgensen, summa cum laude.
Maria Anna Yukich.
Lisa Renee Julien.
Jonathan Keith Camrath.
Sarah B. Capel.
Corey Thomas Kasperzak.
Carissa Ann Keith, summa cum laude with a perfect 4.0.
Christina M. Kelly.
John M. Kennedy, summa cum laude.
Maggie May Kennedy.
Laura Rose Keenberger.
Sarah Rose Clower.
William Carl Klein.
Jordan Allen Klitsky, summa cum laude.
Michelle Lee Kluja.
Kristen Marie Knapp.
Matthew James Knutson.
Chelsea Christine Kepsel.
Angela Esther Koich.
Stefan A. Colas.
Chelsea Mary Collage.
Stephanie Aaron Colstead.
Molly Stiga Koppel.
Barry William Coppin.
Jillian Corbus.
Mark A. Coton.
Chelsea Bell Kramer.
Susan Marie Kramer, summa cum laude.
Tara Lynn Kramer.
Sierra Ann Krebsbach.
Jacob H. Krugel.
Chelsea L. Kruzmark.
Teresa Kathleen Kubat.
Joseph Randall Kuchenmeister.
Emily Ann Kinger.
Chad Michael Coombe.
Marlene Alice Kivitrud.
John Odell Logger.
Alexander James Lair.
Hang on. Jamie Marie Laird.
Catherine Charlotte Lang.
Rose M. Langshan.
Angela Lauren Larson.
Deborah Helen Laswell, summa cum laude.
Kenneth Richard Latham.
Sarah Jean Latsky.
Catherine Rose Lehman.
James Thielen Leathers.
John Joseph Lisi.
Chang Lee.
Jennifer Lee.
Lindy Johanna Lee.
Ryan Lee.
Chelsea Ann Lewis.
Christina Marie Lewis, summa cum laude.
Michelle Ann Lean.
Nicholas M. Lind.
Matthew Bruce Lindholm.
Jeffrey Mark Lindgren.
Thomas Gregory Liska.
Kelly Jo Ludwig.
Kayleen Marie Lundstrom.
Melissa Ray Mackley.
Sean Michael Martins. Laura Jean Mahowald.
Coraline Ray Malice.
Scott Bernard Mangan.
David Benjamin Mann, summa cum laude with a perfect 4.0.
Samantha Brianne Marinell.
Ryan Joseph Marchio.
Meredith Margaret Marcotte.
Michelle Kristen Marion.
Ashley Lynn Marshall.
Justin Michael Martin.
David Lee Martinson.
Angelica Lee Mathis.
Margaret Pearl Madison.
Kevin Lois Matsuseski.
Lauren Wolf Matakowski.
Brittany Shalane Matsky.
Cameron Richard Maurer.
Michael Timothy May.
Morgan D. McDonald.
Mariah Grace McGill.
Ryan Daniel McGinty.
Amy Beatha McMullen.
Ryan M. McPartland.
Gamachu Milkamu.
Ashley Lynn Melville.
Alexander David Messenger.
Corey David Meyer.
Ryan Allen Michaels.
Andrew Leonard Michelson.
Vince Thomas Miller.
Jamie L. Mitchell.
Jessie Lynn Moe.
Jessica Marie Myrtle.
Rochelle Jean Malater, summa cum laude.
Emerald Margaret Moreau.
Cody Austin Mosbeck.
Dallas W. Mosbeck.
Linda N. Mua.
Paku Moa.
Courtney Joe Mueller.
Joanna Lynn Mueller.
Nicholas Michael Murray.
Lucas Paul Nair.
Callie Faye Nelson.
Andrea Nelson.
Andrew G. Nelson.
Catherine Ann Nelson.
Kayla Ann McBride Nelson.
Kelly Jean Nelson, summa cum laude.
Kelly Catherine Nelson, summa cum laude.
Lane Stephen Nelson.
Matthew Richard Nelson.
Nicole Elizabeth Nelson.
Kelly Len Nemick.
Michael Nesbitt.
Kelsey Nielsen.
Lucas John Nissen.
Blake John Nenig.
Natalie Noel Norberg.
Hannah Lee Nordell.
Sarah Elizabeth Normand, summa cum laude, with a perfect 4.0.
Eric Brian Noun.
Kelly Ray O'Brien.
Caitlin M. O'Brien, summa cum laude.
Haley Brooke O'Connell, summa cum laude.
Thomas Frederick Elfkey.
Ifoma Okolo.
Johanna Marie Olmsted.
Andrew Joseph Olson.
Kyle Min Olson.
Lynn Elizabeth Olson, summa cum laude.
Matthew R. Olson.
Micah Olson.
Hamada Beti Omar.
Marin Elisa O'Neill.
Jessica Ann Opheim.
Allison Jane Oppenheimer.
Clara Elizabeth Opsel.
Anne Stephanie Opseth.
Tanya Lee Origo.
Emily Ann Orlaska.
Joseph J. Ostertag.
Giel Amadou Wedragogo.
Abigail Christine Overman.
Charles David Owens.
Emily Lynn Palanch.
Adam Keith Palm.
Gregory William Palm.
Anthony Richard Palma.
Stephen Thomas Palmer.
Luke P. Paquin.
Alexandra Elizabeth Parker.
Jacob William Partridge.
Abby Lauren Pauley.
Mikate Paulson.
Samuel Edward Paulson.
Caitlin Joy Peterson.
Rachel Suzanne Peterson.
Mark William Pajinski.
Leanna Jo Peckel.
Allison Louise Pelton.
Natalie Ann Peters.
Caitlin Joy Peterson.
Caitlin Victoria Peterson.
Katie Lynn Peterson.
Annika Peterson.
Emily Laverne Philippi.
Justin Robert Elgin Phillips.
Janae Marie Peel.
Mark Alexander Polacco.
Jennifer Poon.
Kara Hopi Powers.
Alexandria K. Prawl.
Sarah Suzanne Preston.
Haley Marie Prittman.
Brianna Marie Radke, summa cum laude.
David Neal Randall.
Andrea Jean Reavers.
Anthony Franklin Reed.
Aaron Regula Breton.
Andrea Marie Retka.
Taylor James Ridley, summa cum laude.
Jigme Ritsakura.
Lisa Rivers.
Chelsea Marie and Masters Roberts.
Christine K. Robertson.
Paige Augusta Roth.
Peter Nathaniel Routh.
Daniel T. Rowe.
Brianna Lee Rudy.
Jenna Alice Rusnako.
Colin James Rust.
Amanda Lee Sadie.
Elisa Mullum Saunders.
Tracy Ann Marie Saunders.
Carrie Allen Shano.
Mark David Shear.
Amanda Lynn Schiller.
Gabriel Michael Schmidt.
Catherine Ruth Caldwell Schnell.
Sarah Beth Schnell.
Amanda Schreiner.
Janae Emily Schrader.
Michael J. Scheffner.
Jason Wesley Schultz.
Julia Marie Schultz.
Jessica A. Schultz.
Rebecca Ann Schultz.
Skylar Schultz.
Benjamin P. Schuth.
Rachel Marie Michelson Schwanke.
Alice Margaret Schwantes.
Rose C. Switzenberger.
Diana Kelly Scott.
Jacob William Siemens.
Kevin Seitz.
Narak Sem.
Nina Dominica Serratori.
William Warren Schaefer.
Adam Michael Schultz.
Kate Ashley Sidlow.
Scott William Simpkins, summa cum laude.
Amanda Gale Scarpole.
Allison Lee Shervin, summa cum laude.
Kirsten Lee Smedstad.
Colin Scott Smith.
Gabrielle Elise Smith.
Jordan Andrew Smith.
Nicholas Robert Snitker.
Nicole Lynn Soyseth.
Kyle Josephson Summer.
Christina Marie Sorensen.
Amber Marie Steffenhagen.
Vincent Matthew Stefan.
Andrea Lynn Stevens.
Brittany Nicole Stewart.
Christopher Andrew Stewart, summa cum laude.
Samantha Orschel Stoner.
Jennifer Louise Story.
Adam Orville Strand.
Rachel Elizabeth Stuckey.
Abdul Qadir Abdallah Suleiman.
Miranda Christine Swanson.
Casey John Swanson.
Daniel Douglas Swatfager.
Michael M. Swenson.
Jennifer Ray Severson.
Matthew Robert Tafey.
Jennifer Tejada.
Kirsten Jill Tesius.
Alicia Joan Thompson.
Jennifer Kayla Thompson.
Megan Thompson.
Sarah Eileen Stutzman Thorstensen.
Kirsten Lynn Thulin.
Ashley Brooke Tibbetts.
Emily Maureen Tomerdahl.
Adam Todd Toppin.
Marcus K. Trato.
Megan Marie Troms.
Abby Lynn Travis.
Mitchell von Sagern Turner.
Stephen von Zagern Turner.
Hannah Joy Twyton, summa cum laude.
Kyle J. Euland.
Katie Louise Humantham.
Amanda Mary Unruh.
Laurel Ann Urquhart.
Allison L. Utke.
Bailey Ann Vandelanati.
Brett L. Vanderstreek.
Jordan James Van Dorp.
Christian David Vanek.
Yer Vang.
Jill Marie Van Osdal.
Jesse Lee Von Sickle.
Alana Noel Velo.
Jason Gerald Vetter.
It's just the I. Christopher Thomas Vick.
Corey Tobin Vifquin.
Laura Ann Waltz.
Aaron Alexis Watt.
Kaylee Lynn Wayne.
Jessica Ann Weber.
Lee Aaron Weber.
Peter Fritjof Weeks.
Joe Welch.
Nicole Marie Welke.
Kristen Ann Weller.
Joyce Welling Prame.
Kira Jo Wellner.
Holly Jean Wormerskirchen.
Karen Aslan West.
Catherine Curran Weedman.
Karen Ann Wiesner.
Paula Elaine Wiggum.
Kelly Lynn Williamson.
Sarah Marie Windhorst.
Elizabeth Ione Winslow.
Kayla Marie Winter.
Alan Joseph Wojtas.
Andrew James Whitus.
Eleanor Dutton Wood, summa cum laude with a perfect 4.0.
Matthew Mark Wood.
Alexander Colfax Woodhall.
Courtney Rose Woodward.
Mung Di Wu, summa cum laude.
Kabor Shong.
Andrew Martin Yakel Julien.
Angela K. Yanka.
Chen Yu Yang, summa cum laude.
Cynthia C. Yang.
Tony Zhongdu Yang.
Tomoko Yasoshima.
Michael Yarno.
Ilana Caroline Yokel.
Yes.
Amanda R. Yordi.
Sovanchampa Yos.
Harry Youngvorst.
Catherine Angelica Zamora. Chelsea Angelica Zamora. I'm sorry.
Adam Scott Zard.
Emily Ann Czar.
Chantel Lorene Ziegler.
Aaron James Ziert.
Megan Isla Anderl.
We made it. Way to go.
you. That's such a great tradition. As the graduates get back to their seats, I would now like to ask all of the graduates to please stand. We made it. Now is the time for you as graduates to move the tassels of your cap from the right to the left. Congratulations. A tradition I feel that is important. It is also time to recognize and applaud the individuals who have been so instrumental in your lives during the days as students at Gustavus. It's their love and their willingness to sacrifice and their belief in you that have enabled you to accomplish your goals. Graduates, please turn toward the audience, and will the parents, grandparents, and family members of the graduates please stand so that they can thank you. Families of the graduates may be seated, and graduates, please turn back toward the podium and remain standing. I got you. As president of your alma mater, I charge you to remember always the duties and responsibilities that go with your new standing as alumni. Hold your degree so it suffers no harm in your holding it. Hold it for the honest service of others. Hold it with untarnished honor to yourself. Take up your life calling, living out the Gustavus values of excellence, community justice, service, and faith. Your story is now woven into the Gustavus story, and you will forever be part of the Gustavus family. Congratulations. You may be seated. For those of you in the audience, you may have seen as the graduates were putting on their robes, or maybe even your own sons or daughters, many of them have a little square with the G and the crowns in it. That's to designate that this class did something very special. You know, it's not just about being a student. It's about understanding a responsibility. This class has done something that no other class has ever done. The class of 1960, the 50-year reunion class, challenged them. They in turn asked that my wife and I would challenge them, and we did, and they reached every challenge we presented. Will all of those that gave to the legacy gift, class gift program, please rise? This group, 64% of the class have made a gift to the annual fund this year. Congratulations. Please be seated. Well, it looks like we're making it. Now we can just relax and enjoy ourselves, because the next thing is probably what you want to hear the most, and that is from one of your classmates. Mary Cunningham was selected to give the commencement address on behalf of your class. You know that she is an honors Communication Studies and History major from Maplewood, Minnesota. She's been a leader academically, reflected in receiving the John E. Braun Award for Outstanding Achievement in Communication Studies and the William G. Roberts Award for Outstanding Scholarship in Communication Study. She worked as a GusLink caller for the Gustavus Annual Fund and dispatcher for the campus security. I'm sure many of you talked to her when you called in. She was a part of the Gustavus ambassadors and the forensics team. As part of that forensics team, Mary is graduating as one of the most decorated competitors in forensics program storied history. She was this year's Minnesota State Champion in oratory, informative, communication analysis, and parliamentary debate, and received recognition as the top female speaker in extemporaneous speaking at the American Forensics Association National Individual Events Tournament. She has been a key member of the forensics team back to back state championships and helped the team place in the top 20 in the nation among the schools of all sizes for 4 consecutive years, including this year in the top 10. During her 4 years at Gustavus, Mary studied in Germany for a semester, and upon returning to Gustavus, has lived in the Carlson International Center Residence Hall and was an active member of the Crossroads program focused on international education. Next month, Mary and fellow senior Cole Carlson. Cole, would you please stand? Now, not everybody gets this kind of recognition, Cole. But they're going to be married in a few short days. You know, there's a legend at Gustavus that during the first year student orientation, new students need to attend the annual square dance. Now, sometimes that's hard to get them to do. That's been a part of the orientation activities since the 1970s, because you may just dance with the person you will marry, they say. Well, Mary and Cole are proof of that the legend is alive. They did meet during orientation, and they did dance together at the square dance. The gusty greeters, I'm sure, are glad you two have helped keep this legend alive. Thank you, Cole. Congratulations and good luck to you. Before I ask Mary to come to the podium, I'd like to ask that her parents, who are seated down here, and her family, please stand to be recognized. Mary, it's time for you to talk to your class.
President Oley, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, alumni, proud parents and family members, and above all, graduates, welcome, and thank you for joining us here today. I am so grateful to have been chosen for this immense honor. Award-winning poet Bill Holm once remarked, "For it is life we want. We want the world, the whole beautiful world alive, and we alive in it." Today, on our graduation day, we embark on a new journey, embracing the world that has been placed before us. For the last 22 years, many of us have dreamt of this day, when we would finally be free of school and in control of our own destiny. Our families have also dreamt of this day, happy to have the expense of a private liberal arts education in the past, but more importantly, because today they can celebrate your accomplishments. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. Our lives will not change when we walk across this stage. A diploma is really an expensive piece of paper that hopefully will be helpful in finding a job and securing a fiscally sound life. However, a diploma will not change your life or the lives of those around you for the better. Minnesota Speaker of the House and current DFL candidate for governor of the state of Minnesota, Margaret Anderson Kelleher, explains the importance of our Gustavus education when she states, "The key to success in job growth in Minnesota is having a really strong foundation of education. It's been our key to success in the past, and it's the key to success in the future." Through a liberal arts education, we have not only received a top-notch academic education, but also an education in being a citizen that can positively contribute to society. Over the last 4 years, the Gustavus faculty and staff have done everything in their power to prepare us for the moment when we walked across this stage as students and graduated into the working world as educated members of society. The life lessons we've learned on the Hill have varied from department to department. But over the last 4 years, we've heard a lot about making our lives count and Gustavus's core values: excellence, community, justice, service, and faith. Our liberal arts education has provided ample opportunity to practice this way of living through service learning projects, volunteer work, and student organizations. But tomorrow, when you wake up and as an alumnus of Gustavus Adolphus College for the very first time, the structure that has allowed for this practice of these important skills will be gone. Today, a responsibility to use your education for the betterment of others has been bestowed upon you. Tomorrow, you become accountable to fulfill this responsibility. Luckily, Gustavus has helped you build a strong educational foundation. But the construction workers of the new academic building can attest that the foundation is only the beginning. Linda Hewitt, former president and CEO of Weight Watchers, explains, "You never finish in terms of your own development. No matter what you are appointed, you are still just learning. And you've got as much to learn from the people that work for you as you've got to give to them." Only through action can we continue to build upon our education. Unfortunately, as we walk this stage today, we must recognize that excellence, community, justice, service, and faith are only nouns or ideas. It is our responsibility, using our diplomas as our passports to discovery, to identify a cause or causes that we believe in, and to work tirelessly to turn the nouns that Gustavus has armed us with into verbs so that we may positively impact those around us. Grammy award-winning jazz vocalist Kurt Elling explains that in jazz, some people bemoan the loss of the old context without acknowledging the great opportunity before us to embrace our own time and to make the most of it. We have access to great gifts from the past, and we are charged with passing them on through our own hands. As we move on to new endeavors, it may be easy to long nostalgically for our time here at Gustavus. While it is okay to think fondly of our time here, we must acknowledge that we cannot live in the past. Instead, it is paramount that we embrace the opportunities that lie ahead by acknowledging that we will always carry the foundation Gustavus has provided with us. But in acknowledging this, we are accepting a responsibility to turn the practice of the last 4 years into action. After all, there is a monumental difference between justice and acting justly, between service and serving, between being a part of a community and leading a community. You have been prepared to become leaders, to act courageously when no one else will, and to stand up for what you believe is just. We can and we must turn Gustavus's core values into verbs. Acting on your morals will not always be easy. Standing up for what is right will often leave you feeling alone. Pioneering a new cause or field of research will sometimes lead to seemingly unending circles and no solutions. despite the hardships that we will face, we still must act fearlessly in the face of failure. Professional tennis player Eric Buderock explains, "If you live your life scared of failure, then you have failed by default. It is when we face adversity and failure through action, even failed action, that change in this world will be achieved." But you don't need to take my word for it. Instead, trust the words of Bill Holm, award-winning poet and Gustavus class of 1965, of Margaret Anderson Kelleher, Minnesota Speaker of the House, current DFL candidate for governor of the state of Minnesota, and Gustavus class of 1990, or Linda Hewitt, former president and CEO of Weight Watchers, Gustavus class of 1966, Grammy award-winning jazz vocalist Kurt Elling, Gustavus class of 1989, Eric Buderock, professional tennis player and class of 2003, and of others, such as Peter Narathan, class of 2002, who after being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, became an Ironman triathlete, or of Patsy Sherman O'Connell, co-inventor of 3M Scotchgard, Gustavus class of 1952, and of the countless other Gusties that have gone on to become leaders in their fields, paving new paths of discovery. Today, we join the ranks of these alumni that have become agents of change. We recently received the same piece of paper that they did. The question before you now is, will you do as countless other Gustavus alumni has done and use your diploma to enact meaningful change in this world? Whether you seek to change the world by inventing the next green technology, or by simply taking on the important and very difficult task of raising a family, remember that change can only happen when we choose to take action. Gustavus graduate of 1930 and former president of Gustavus Adolphus College, Edgar Carlson, maintained, "We contribute by serving, weaving the single thread of our lives into the fabric of our common good. If each of us individually accepts the challenge before us, imagine collectively what we will achieve. Incremental small steps towards a goal will result in change and the betterment of this world, so that in 50 years at the class of 2060's commencement, instead of talking about this recession, they'll instead hail what we have achieved in the face of adversity and failure." Bill Holmes' words take on new meaning for the class of 2010, because today, it is life that we want. We want the world, the whole beautiful world, alive and we alive in it. But we cannot ignore his call to action when he continues, "That is why I have written and intend to continue until someone among you takes up the happy work of keeping the chain letter of the soul moving along into whatever future will come." Today, we take the first step of our responsibility to continue the necessary work of keeping the chain letter of the soul moving forward as we become Gustavus alumni, class of 2010.
Mary, that was just fantastic. I think that a number of your classmates would have enjoyed being here and making comments to the class, and would have said many of the same things that you did. You did it in such a grand style and gave us a chance to think about all those things that have been important during the time that the students spent here on this campus. Normally, at the beginning of this ceremony, I would have introduced the people on this podium. There are some distinguished individuals, and rather than introduce them by name, I want to introduce them by group. An institution is made up of many different people. First and foremost, we must have students. And you all represent all that is good about this institution. I had an opportunity to introduce the faculty and thank them for what they do to help you to understand the relationship between learning and taking your rightful place in holding up your diploma so that it works for you. Mary said that well. It is your chance now, your challenge now, to step forward. The institution also needs the help of others. I wish that the individuals who cleaned the residence halls and cut the grass and did those things all the years that you were here on the podium with us, because I would introduce them to you and I think you would want to recognize them. I wish that all those that worked in the residence halls, I've seen some of them here today, we could introduce them individually because you would want to welcome them. But today we have some of the senior administrators and our chaplain, one of our chaplains here. I'd like the senior administrators to please stand so that they can be recognized. Brian, that's you too. Thank you. And finally, the Board of Trustees. Without the Board of Trustees, we would really not have the opportunity to move forward. They have given of themselves in many ways. This beautiful project that we have going on over here, building a great building, would not be possible without their willingness to step up. I introduced to you the chairman of the board. He is retiring after 3 years as chair. He's a 1983 Phi Beta Kappa graduate of this institution. He was in your chair in 1983. You likewise can be up here on the podium in that number of years away when you're on the Board of Trustees and making a difference in the life of the institution in that way. Jim Gale, I want you to stand and be recognized by this audience for all that you have done. And I'd like you to stand with those who are also here, all members of the Board of Trustees. Would the members please stand, and Jim also. It is an exciting time at this institution. There are so many things happening, and we are so pleased that you have come here today to celebrate with these students. I want to say just a few words before we have the Carlson Award presentation. I too, like President Carlson, have said many times that weaving a beautiful tapestry is so important for all of us, and you've heard me talk about that. I have quoted Chief Justice Sandra Day O'Connor many times when she said, "We don't accomplish anything in this world alone, and whatever happens as a result of the whole tapestry of one's life and all the weavings of individual threads from one to another, that creates something very beautiful." The weaving of your threads in the Gustavus tapestry have for 4 years changed this institution. Chair Gale said to you at the very beginning of this ceremony that this place would not be the same without you. That's because you have contributed over the time that you've been here, and this institution will never be the same. I hope that during your 4 years, you received an outstanding education that we promised to give you. I hope that you have an insatiable urge to continue your learning, confidence in your abilities, and a fascination for new ideas. I hope that you feel that the core values, as Mary shared with us, and as I said in my charge to you, of excellence, community, justice, service, and faith, will live in your life. I hope that you will take the freedom you have experienced during your journey at Gustavus and champion the highest human ideals in your professions, in your community, and in your lives. And I hope that during your journey at Gustavus you have been encouraged to understand your own faith and the moral and the ethical issues that you will face in helping others make judgments and choices. Take seriously your responsibilities to make time for volunteer service and leading in your communities. John Hope Franklin once said that we must go beyond textbooks and go out into the depths of the wilderness to travel and explore and tell the world the glories of our journey. That's what we've been talking about today. It's the start of a journey that you now have a diploma that you can take out and really create a world for yourself. You know that the faculty that have been with you these 4 years will always be here, a telephone call away, a stop in St. Peter to say hello to them. I remember talking to some alumni this weekend who had graduated 20, 30, 50 years ago, and they still are in communication with the faculty that meant so much to them. Remain on solid terms with the lessons of history and of people and of events in other places and other times so that you will have a wider perspective on how you will make an exciting and worthy history of your own. You have many successes here at Gustavus, and I know that in the years ahead, you will continue to have similar opportunities for success. I hope you leave Gustavus after this portion of your journey far wiser than you were when you began your course of study here. Many of you will be headed to graduate school, others to the workforce, the Peace Corps, and other opportunities to travel. You are now linked inseparably and forever with Gustavus Adolphus College. How you conduct your lives will shape your own reputation and character in the future, just as it will determine the reputation of your alma mater. That's what I tried to say in my charge to you, and when I handed you that pin. It is something that is very special to you and only can be worn by you. It gives you the opportunity to take that and create your own world. Congratulations and best wishes. And now, before we end the ceremony and have the benediction and the closing remarks, it is my pleasure to call upon Dr. Rick Orpin, Professor of Music and the 2009 recipient of the Edgar M. Carlson Award for Distinguished Teaching. Dr. Orpin has been a member of the music department at Gustavus since 1980. He teaches courses in music theory, jazz improvisation, jazz guitar, composition, and percussion techniques. He will introduce the 2010 recipient of the Carlson Award. Dr. Orpin.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The Gustavus Adolphus College Board of Trustees established the Edgar M. Carlson Award for Distinguished Teaching in 1971 to honor former President Edgar Carlson for his years of distinguished leadership and in recognition of his commitment to academic excellence. Gustavus students, faculty, staff, and administrators nominate professors for this award, and each year at commencement, a faculty member is recognized for his or her exceptional skill and effectiveness as an instructor. At this time, only two people, Provost David Feenan and I, know the identity of this year's recipient. Students and faculty members write the following: this person is passionate about teaching and research and dedicated to both, is a wonderful mentor to new faculty, cares as deeply about the success of first-year students as senior honor students, effectively uses humor in the classroom, inspires students to exceed their expectations, reach their true potential, and view learning as a lifelong process, promotes a collaborative and experiential learning environment, is innovative and blends excellence with opportunity. And now the announcement of the 2010 Edgar M. Carlson Award for Distinguished Teaching. But first, more about myself. When Richard Leach introduced me last year, he told the humorous story of a student from Sweden looking for a Richard to teach him the guitar riff in Eric Clapton's Leila. Well, Leila is close, but this year's award goes to Leila. Leila Brammer, would you please come forward? Dr. Leila Brammer arrived at Gustavus in 1997. She holds a BA from Northern State, an MA from Northern Illinois, and a PhD from the University of Minnesota. Her scholarly work is focused on social movements, rhetoric and argument, and civic engagement. She is the author of Excluded from Suffrage History, Matilda Joslyn Gage, 19th Century American Feminist. Leah has taught a wide variety of courses in the Communication Studies Department, from rhetorical criticism to communication in Fiji, to feminist criticism, to public discourse. I suppose one should not say she has taught discourse to that course. Sorry. Okay. Actually, Lee has been a major force behind the significant curricular change from public speaking to public discourse, with an emphasis on civic engagement. A faculty colleague writes, "This new course represents a clear articulation of the Gustavus mission, blending excellence in education with the opportunity for students to truly embrace their individual potential by way of leadership and service in their community." A student writes, "Lee is the most fair, caring, entertaining, intelligent, and encouraging professor I have had at Gustavus." A faculty colleague states, "Lee emphasizes the importance of reaching every student, especially those who are struggling." And this colleague quotes her as saying, "It is easy to teach the best students." In this community of learning, excellence in teaching is at the center. As a faculty member of this liberal arts college, I am proud to call her my colleague. Friends, it is my pleasure to introduce this year's recipient of the Edgar M. Carlson Award for Distinguished Teaching, Dr. Leila Brammer.
I'm surprised and overwhelmed and deeply humbled. I am blessed to work with tremendously talented faculty, many of whom could and probably should be standing here with me. As Mary was speaking today, I was thinking about what makes our community special, and it is because each of us as individuals come together for the greatest good of the community. In the true Lutheran tradition, we don't have hierarchy. We work in an egalitarian mode, shoulder to shoulder, side by side, faculty, staff, and administrators, all for one purpose, and it's a grand purpose: to provide the best quality liberal arts experience in the country. Other colleges do it because they have huge endowments or prestigious names. We do it here at Gustavus on the basis of hard work and a belief that we all have stake in this. We do it on a foundation of shared governance, and because we believe wholeheartedly in what we're doing, and we support wholeheartedly every member of the community. You graduates, as I am, we're blessed to be permanent members of this community. I know for me, I am better because of the support and love of this community. I believe that's true for all of us here. Also today, when Mary was speaking, I thought about Eric Neurelius because we are his community. In 1876, he moved his campus here to this windswept bluff with what must have been incredible faith, courage, and devotion to the promise of higher education. I hope that we are confidently fulfilling his pledge and his mission. And today, we charge you, our newest alumni, to go forth in his footsteps, to act boldly, to make mistakes, but to admit when you make mistakes and correct them, to speak truth to power, and to make real, significant, positive differences in your communities. We wish you the best in your endeavors. And finally, a thank you. In true impromptu mode, I said all these things I say about Gustavus all the time in hopes that I would come up with adequate words to thank you. This, quite honestly, is the highest award I could possibly ever achieve. That I received it from this community that I love so deeply means more than I will ever be able to express. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Words well said. And now I ask the chairman of the board, Jim Gale, to come forward to close our ceremony today and to invite us to the receptions that will follow. Mr. Gale.
At the beginning of this ceremony, we all feared that the clouds overhead might bring storms to this campus. Thankfully, they didn't and brought only relief from the sun. These commencement exercises will conclude in a moment with all of us dry. They'll conclude with the benediction. After the benediction, a group of music ensemble members from the class of 2010 will sing the alma mater as the platform party and faculty recess. Following the formal recessional, you are welcome to meet graduates here on the field if you'd like. All the family and friends are invited then to join the faculty and all graduates for a reception that will be held in the Student Union in the Campus Center. I think your programs might indicate that that's outside. A decision was made a while back to move that inside just in case storms did come to us here on campus. Chaplain Johnson.
We rise for prayer. Lord God, you have called these your servants to ventures of which we cannot see the ending, by paths as yet untrodden, through perils unknown. Give us faith to go out with good courage, not knowing where we go, but only that your hand is leading us and your love supporting us. My brothers and sisters, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord's face shine on you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you with favor and give you peace. And together the people say, Amen. Amen.